everybody. Hello, 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 and welcome to Gospel Sunday with Mama E. We're going to be talking about some hot stuff this Black History Month. I've been kind of letting a few things slide, but I think I'm going to get right into it. Y'all know I wrote a book. And prior to me telling you about this book, I want you to hit that subscribe button. Let me know you're out there. Join me in the chat. Now let's move on with the business of black folk and white folk. And y'all, I'm 75, so I think I can talk a bit about it. And I talked quite a bit about it in my book entitled Black Men Are No Good. If so, it's the black woman's fault. Get your copy. You will love it. And I am telling you, you cannot judge this book by its cover. And here I am as the author of it. And the reason why I wrote it was because at an early age, I began to see that the black boys, black men do not get the treatment that they deserve in America. Yes, a man is a man, and many men have died for defending their masculinity towards people that should never have been in question too. Did y'all know that they once upon a time classified our men as monkeys? Now, isn't it ironic how they leave the woman out, but everything is based on the man? From day one in the biblical days, it was always kill the male children, the male children of importance. The black man is somebody. You better hear me. The black man is somebody, and especially to a black woman who has had a black boy child. You think she's not happy about that? Of course she is. Now, unfortunately, this is something that has to be addressed. And it does seem as if the black woman is more favorable towards her boys than her girls. And I really believe that. I believe that at some point I have been guilty of favoring the boys more than the girls, in the sense that I believe that we feel that we have to protect our boys and our men, but it really isn't so. And if we're going to protect them, the only protection that we can really give our men is the support of knowing that we are by their side no matter what. I am still asking the question, why is Martin Luther King dead? Why is Medgar Evers dead? And people of that caliber who have given their lives for the cause of black people in America. Why are they gone? I am very serious when I say that there were things accomplished in earlier years. And unfortunately, everything, pretty much, as far as I can see, everything that was accomplished as far as freedom or so-called freedom goes has been given back or taken back. We are a very damaged people in America. I'm trying to understand, but in the process of trying to understand, I am hearing Malcolm X say that the white man is the devil. The only portion that I disagree with is the white man is not the devil, but I tell you what, he has certainly yielded himself as a vessel for use for Satan. I will say that. And in previous discussions and things that I've heard, it says that seemingly the white man has always been the representation of evil. I really am going by exactly what I've seen. Now, is that to say that all white people are evil? No, no, no. Why? Because God is never without a witness. And during the days of slavery, which I was not a participant, I heard about it, and I'm sure that some of my descendants were a part of it. But in the process of hearing about it, things were not the way they are now. Now, the goal has always been separation. The goal for the white man has always been to keep the Negroes apart. You know, and I'm saying that on purpose because I once had a college professor and he did teach history. It wasn't black history, but he taught history. And when he got to the part where it was about the Negroes, he said the Negras. And I mean, I heard him say it a few times, like, yes, he called it there. But anyway, I'm sure he was. He looks like Abraham Lincoln. But anyway, that began to happen. And as far as racism goes, when I was coming up, I was raised by a black woman who taught me and taught us that no one was better than we. So it didn't matter what color they were. And I believed that. And I defended myself if it were necessary. And the first time, I'm about 12 or 13. I'm in junior high school. I'm in the 7th grade. And I go to a Texas town, East Texas, and I wanted a soda. And the white lady says that I couldn't get my soda. So here I am. I'm from Houston, Texas. And she's telling me that I can't get my soda. And I was like, if I can't get it, I don't want it. So, you know, that was my thrash back. But I was taught by my grandmother, no, no, none of that stuff applies to us. And, you know, I really am, or was, I should say, I was racism in reverse, if that's such a thing, because just as seemingly the white man didn't care for us as a people, I definitely had no love for them as a people, and I let them know. And so it's just what you bow down to. In the natural, before Christ, I didn't bow down to the white man. And I think as a black woman today, we do not have to bow, but we do need to support our black men, our boy children. And ladies, I'm telling you, some ugly stuff out there regarding the statistics of what's going on. Men, some ugly stuff going on out there, but when you really begin to put just natural sense to it, the rumor is that boy children are coming up more feminine than ever before. And they have given that to the fact that there are a lot of black women raising boy children, and the boys are taking on the characteristics of what is shown to them, their mother, their femininity of the woman rather than the male being the example of how boy children should act and respond. Not saying that mothers are not doing a good job, but they're not doing the best job, in the sense that every man, every boy needs a man. And even men need men. But that right there has to be understood in the sense of how it's said. You know, have you heard of the gentleman's gentleman? Everybody needs that. The women need matriarchs. Women need to be led by other women who have good track records. And you could possibly learn from, well, what is a good track record? Something I'll say is that leads us to that which is going to be successful rather than disastrous. Unfortunately, some of the mothers that are trying to raise girls, I've I've seen stories within the last month, whereas the mother and the daughter were killed, and they were killed not by someone that was offending them. They were offending somebody, and unfortunately, they became the victims. You see, the situations don't always pan out, and that again is what I'm talking about. This thing is about God and the devil. It's never going to change until the second coming. And speaking of the second coming, if you are born again, there's no need to dot every I and cross every T and call out things that we ought not be doing. We are working on our reward. There's no need for us to wonder and ponder about where you're going when you get saved. If you're born again, you are going to be with the Father. It says absent in the body when you transition. Present with the Lord. That's never going to change. I believe the story, and the story has proven itself to be true. I was down and out. I don't really talk about my testimony much because even though it may mean something, I don't really think that we have time to waste on talking about what happened to us, what we did, what didn't do. That, in my opinion, is somewhat of a braggadocious type situation. I could tell people about all of the things and some of the things that I've even forgotten that God has done for me. But this goal of this podcast is to let people know that what God has done for one, He will do for you. It doesn't matter. He says, according to your faith, be it unto you. Whatever you can believe for, it's yours. And there are some things that are ours that we don't even realize are ours because we don't study enough. We have not been under the tutelage, I'll say, of a good pastor or a good teacher. I'm trying to understand why it is that most of the churches that I view, the little bits and pieces that I get, I don't understand. If these people have been coming to your church for years and years and years, why is it preached almost every Sunday as if it's a new crowd? Some of the people ought to be understanding exactly what you've been teaching all these years. Does it have to be a new refresher course? Why are we not flowing into what we've already learned? I'm born again. I'm saved. What's the next move? And the next move is to fall in love with yourself. And that is what enables you and I to fall in love with God. Y'all, listen. He says, we love Him because He first loved us. He gets first dibs. That's why I said anything that you want from God, the ball is in your court because God has, H-A-S, has already done everything that He can do for mankind, and that includes you. God has done everything that He can do for us until the second coming of Christ. And in that second coming, it's going to be filled with a lot of goodies, and it may be filled with a lot of sorrow. Follow the instructions, and you will get the desired result. Y'all, I was watching another YouTube channel the other day, and it is phenomenal, the things that have been incorporated to take our minds off of ourselves as a people. Y'all, they say that the money doesn't stay in our neighborhood, and pretty much every dollar that we get, we give it away. Why are we not taking care of ourselves with the monies? Why have we been oriented and propaganda done to us in the sense of we don't know how to come together and pool our monies and build things? You, for a moment it was Wall Street, Oklahoma, wherever that was. Every black town had a Wall Street, if you want to ask me. We all did everything in the community together. We didn't really need the white folk. The white folk needed us. Oh, and that brings me to another situation. We got too wise for the white man. And the white man began to try to figure out, you know what, they just are not going to die. Got to get another plan. That's what I said also about when the, what you call that, when we got our freedom and we became liberated and we could work here and work there and do anything and could not be refused. But who were the jobs given to? They were given to the women. Now here comes the weapon. We're going to use the woman against her man. And then once we get her into the plan of what we have planned for her man, he will no longer be her man, and she will no longer seek to be his woman. Isn't that something? Well, it sounds crazy as heck, does it not? But I am telling you, God has. I'm not saying God is doing this. Circumstances is doing it, but God has chosen the foolish things of the world to confound the wise. So when we think that we are using wisdom, we're only being confounded in the sense that the black male, I just saw this, is running away from the black female because he is no longer able to tolerate her dictation, her dictator skills and ordering him around, and she's misplaced. She wants his position. And I think that once upon a time that may have been a necessity if she was really a ride or die, I'll say, sister, for her man. But it seems as if somebody has really dropped the ball. The black man is pretty much on his own. Look at some of the situations that he's confronted by. The 3 strikes you're out. And then we have these people who are saying that they really care about black people, yet they have done nothing to change any of these laws that are targeted and directed to our black males. And I'm telling you, black women, get ready, because the white man is almost in a position where he doesn't need you any longer. Just keep on. This is not a prophecy. This is just common sense. This is what I am looking at. Been looking since I was a kid, and nothing has changed. Nothing has gotten better for our men, yet and still we want to degrade him and tell him about how much more money than we make and why we don't need him. Yes, we do. We do need the black man for sure. But we have been drilled to think that we don't. And these are the people that I really feel sorry for, in the sense that you are depriving yourself of the "and they lived happily ever after." This doesn't mean suck up to anything or anybody. This means be the woman towards your man that you should be, and vice versa. I don't care what anybody says. The black man has feelings too. The black man has a heart that can be broken. The black man has a heart that has been broken. The black man may have come up in a home that was broken, and all he saw was negativity. And if no one is there to help him to understand what he has experienced, he will go up in life thinking that that's just the way it is. Or he saw his dad beating his mom, or saw his mom's guys beating on her, and he thought that that was the way that it's supposed to go. And I believe that I heard a testimony one time from a person that said that that's the way they thought it should go. And I am thinking or remembering Brother George Foreman, who is not deceased, but this is worth mentioning because he did have a criminal past. But thank God he was a young man committing these crimes, snatching purses and things like that. And he himself said that he thought it was a way of life. He said he thought that that was the way things were going to go. And we do know that he is now a man of God. And we thank God for testimonies like that. Again, as I said in previous podcasts, here I am, 33 years old, needle in my arm. Well, how did that needle get there? The situations of life led me there, in the sense that my mother, the only person in the world whom I ever thought loved me, was gone. She passed away. That was my God. And my God had left the planet. What am I going to do? And for 5 years, approximately, I wandered around on planet Earth, wondering what I was going to do now that my matriarch, now that my mother, the only person who ever loved me, was gone. And I tell you, I went to the fast lane. Oh, this thing, it was progressive. It didn't happen overnight yet, and still, it happened. And I am telling you, I had plenty of victories, because even in that, I was successful in doing wrong. Isn't that something? But of course, now, you know, the fast lane, and maybe some of you don't know, but the roller coaster ride is a part of the fast lane. Riding high in April, sitting on the ground in May. You know what I'm saying? But it was part of the life that I didn't realize there was a better life. And I'm living in that life right now. And I'm telling y'all, I just counted it the other day. I've had 3 houses. The house that I currently live in is brand new. It's 10 years old now, but I've been in it all 10 of the years. It was built for me, paid for me, by this God of the white man, if you want to put it like that. God is a God of all. For God so loved that he gave his only begotten Son, that whosoever, that's you. And guess what? At 75, since I'm no longer working, I'm going higher. Now, I really thought about, hey, 75, it's time to kick back, relax. What's in kick back and relax? What is happening with that? Blood pressure problems, diabetes, what they call that that dysfunctional erectional dysfunction and all of those things. Listen, just because you grow older does not mean you have to grow into a disease or diseases. We have to we have to get on point with how to live the long, healthy, happy, and prosperous life. God says, beloved, above all things, I wish that thou, that's you, that thou mayest prosper and be in health. So look, prosperity and wealth. Prosperity, wealth. Sickness, disease. Light, dark. All of that. Which, going back to our scripture, Isaiah 53, 1 through 5, but we targeted 5, but it says in the beginning at 53 and 1, whose report? Whose report are we going to believe? Now, he's speaking to the Jews, but as we know, the Jews refused to accept God and refused to believe that the Messiah had not come. And again, he came to his own, and his own received him not. That's how the Gentiles became one, number one. Remember, he that is first shall be last, and he that is last shall be first. Now, that's a lot of teaching that will not be able to be dispensed in our 30-minute segment, but I'm telling you, I sometimes deliberately just give bits and pieces because we need to know this for ourselves. We need to study to show ourselves approved so that we will not be workmen who are ashamed, not really knowing what the real truth and what our real entitlements are. And I am telling you, that I am so glad that you have come to this podcast. And by the way, I do want to mention that the jewelry, the earrings are touched by Tay. And I do want you to look her up because she has a very dynamic collection of items and she does personalize. But again, join me in the chat. Hit that subscribe button, hit that like button, tell Lottie, tell Dottie, tell everybody Gospel Sunday has come your way and you had a great time watching it. See you next Sunday. Bye-bye.